Well, Ulises, you mentioned over the weekend that the Rays pulled a Houdini act in one of the games against the Giants. Well, they did it again.
They weren't supposed to win on Tuesday evening, and yet they did. Let's talk about it right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays and email us anytime. Love the mailbag questions and voice memos. LockedOnRays@gmail.com. What a game. What a game. What a game as the Rays take down the LA Angels by a score of 7-6 in 13 innings before a raucous standing room only crowd of 12,000 and change. But that's okay. Hey, that's what the Rays should do. Anytime they do try to promote midweek games, Tuesday night games during the school year, show some clips of what happened last night and say, this is what you may miss out on in person. And I guarantee there were people that were probably exiting the ballpark before the ninth inning or during the ninth inning to get home, to get an early start and listen to the radio. And boy, oh boy, did they miss a show.
It's why you should really never leave a game before the ninth inning. I understand people have got lives, they've got kids, babysitters and all that. But if you have the opportunity to, if you're not just leaving because whatever, dude, stay.
Yeah,
stay, because there can always be some magic when you're watching a baseball game live. And that was like a what is it, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde sort of thing.
It was like two games in one. There was a first arc, a first act, and a second act, and I guess a third act as well, because leading into the ninth inning, the Rays were dead to rights pretty much fifth inning on, after they were down 3-0 or fourth inning on, whenever it was that Aaron Civale gave up back-to-back home runs, which, not to poo-poo on Aaron Civale, he kept the Rays in the game at the end of the day. He had a quality start. So,
yeah, he did. And, I think it was just, how do I say this? He had the stuff. I think that little gap in between 3-4 hitters there with the back-to-back, he kind of just lost it. I always feel like back-to-back home runs are a sign that the pitcher is still thinking about the first home run.
That's
fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not really like in the pitch. I mean, maybe they could be, but that's the viewpoint from the audience. That I get. It's like, you really weren't already thinking about that present pitch. You were still stuck in the, oh man, I did that mistake. So that's why you have that happen. I feel like he did a good job. I mean, that's a quality start. I don't think we should really
you really can't. I mean, if you are complaining about Aaron Civale, you've got bigger issues and bigger fish to fry, because he has been amazing this entire year. And I wouldn't go as far as to say he was amazing last night, but 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 8 strikeouts, no walks, on only 5 hits. That's a pretty dang solid job. And a couple mistakes there back to back, but overall, I loved what he did with his curveball, getting it down below the zone and generating swings and misses over the top. And he really made an effort to get in on hitters with the 4-seamer. So, I would take, from now until the end of the year and into the postseason, I would take that exact start, game in, game out.
Now, let's talk about with context. Right now, fantastic.
Yeah.
If Aaron Civale is going to be our number 2, then you would expect a little bit more. But for right now, excellent.
Right.
Excellent for what Civale is doing for the Rays. Now, I think the only game that he lost, Andy Free was saying this, the only game he lost, he had only let in 1 run.
Yeah.
So that's a bummer. No, he's been really, really efficient, really great with the Rays this year, which is, what we talked about last year. Like, this is a good trade in the long run. just in the short run, it's going to not feel that way for a little bit, and that's okay.
And I mean, if we're all else being equal and just using math in our brains and, okay, what's the timeline here? I would probably rather have a Civale-esque outing than a Jose Soriano outing where he somehow only lets in 1 run, but he walks 5 over 5 innings. Like, that's not a good sign going forward for him.
No, that's a bad sign of the hitters that are facing Soriano that can't close the book on him.
Yeah, capitalize. I mean, the Rays had so many opportunities early on to make movement and get something going, and it just was not happening for one reason or another, which is why, like, we were probably, if it didn't go into extra innings, we were going to record last night, Little Inside Baseball, and we were probably just going to talk about that was a dud game. Just wrap it up, throw it in the garbage, flush the toilet, whatever. Like, not much doing. Nobody helped Civale out.
No, and then it kept going, and we texted. We're like, maybe tomorrow is the best way to do that, and we picked the right thing, so we could actually really enjoy the game, and then now are with you in the morning. But it's crazy, man. I think the 2-parter type game, very exciting. The first, like you said, a total dud, and then it turned on. It turned on with that Palacios hit in the 9th. And Cabby just coming through like that. He has been the MVP of this season so far.
Oh yeah, he has been the best surprise of this year. We've had some disappointments, i.e. Phil Maton, but if we're going to do a totem pole of, man, this guy has really locked in and been really impressive as far as the newcomers, Cabby's at the top of the list because he's just not only his skill set, but he's a gamer. And there's times where we're watching him and we're not even thinking about Wander Franco or Val, who shall not be named.
Right. Yeah, no, it's really fun, at least so far, right? Because so far he's been fantastic, but coming through with 2 out and a triple nonetheless, getting those 2 runs in, very exciting. And then that's, the game got to be like a nail biter after that. And the back and forth action, I really did like how the managers on this one said, I don't trust your offense either. Putting down the bunt in the 10th, I think, Ron Washington, to get that run across.
Old school, and I kind of love it, especially on the road like that.
Well, if you're an Angels fan, I don't think you should be that upset because, like, what have the Rays done offensively? So, yeah, maybe 1 run, getting that 1 run is going to be enough. And it could have been, because they did that 3 times and the Rays were still alive. But that it was just a different dynamic in the game. And I did like that. Baseball's supposed to be fun. It is fun. So when you get more different ways of how the game is played, I think that's fun. If you just get kind of like filtered down into just like one type of baseball, it's kind of boring. It gets stale, just like everything in life. You got to do a little bit of everything. And I really like that 9th to 13th action. That was really, really fun.
Yeah, that was worth the price of admission and more for sure. Yeah. Because before the 9th inning, what was the Rays' highlight offensively? 2 walks by Rortvet. That was basically it. That was the showstopper there. Yeah. We have much more to discuss and dive into on this wild, wacky game. Not just a Houdini act, but like mix in Chris Angel and David Blaine and David Copperfield and Houdini all into one. That's what this was. And as our buddy Evan Klosky put out on social media, this is going to be the craziest game of the year, craziest win of the year for sure. And I don't disagree with that. First, though, we have to tell you some important things, and here's one. Spring training is over and baseball season is officially underway, of course. So don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your prize picks entries, whether it's strikeouts, RBI, first inning runs. Take your pick of more or less and add them to your prize picks entry today. Get in on the playoff action as well with NBA basketball. and win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level. Prize Picks has a little something for every sports fan. Baseball, basketball, soccer, golf, hockey, whatever it may be. You can check it all out. So go ahead, download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. So good, I'll repeat it again. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100.
I have a huge announcement, like so huge. I need to tell you that I'm moving up. I am moving up in the leaderboard of Monopoly Go. Okay. And I'm excited. And you should be excited too, because you can play as well. Okay. This Monopoly Go game has been downloaded over 150 million times. That's a lot of times, folks. It's a great mobile twist on the classic Monopoly that you can play anywhere, anytime. You can explore hundreds of Monopoly boards from Las Vegas to Camelot to the moon, all while ranking in a huge fortune. You can charge rent on iconic properties, just like classic Monopoly. You can charge your friends rent on your iconic properties, or you can go after their Monopoly money by pulling bank heists and taking wrecking balls to their landmarks. That is such a cool move. But my favorite part is the leaderboards, of course, where you can see who is a Monopoly tycoon and who is going to go bankrupt. So today, go get yourself on the charts and download Monopoly Go, now free on the App Store and Google Play today.
All right, getting back into the crazy action that was what I really appreciated about this game. First off, kudos to Harold Ramirez. I don't know if he's going to get enough love and attention, but the Rays were 100% dead to rights in the bottom of the ninth inning, down 3-1. Palacios, weak pop out. Paredes, weak fly out. That's 2 quick outs. And then it all gets going. Life is kept after Ramirez hustles out that infield hit. And then Rosario gets the base hit to center. And then Caballero, of course, does what he does with the triple down the right field line. So that is something I want to note and make sure that we give him some credit and kudos and love. And he almost hustled out. He almost prevented a double play later on in the action before the call was overturned. But what stood out to me about this game was, like, sometimes when you have an extra inning game winner, it's a Randy walk-off home run. And that's kind of the hero of the game. And I guess we could talk about Rosario a little bit. I mean, it's a blooper to the third base line. It's not really, the biggest highlight in the world, but to get to the point of winning the game, it took so many contributions from Harold Ramirez, from Richie Palacios, from Jose Siri defensively and on the base pass, from the bullpen to keep it nice and tight. I mean, using 6-7 arms, and as question mark as the bullpen has been, I was really impressed with the gumption and the ability that they showed to keep it tight. So there was a lot there. And to, what Rosario ultimately did in the 13th inning, that's a veteran move. And that's why you need guys like that on the team as well.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 1,000%. This is not the prototypical walk-off win where, boom, a dude just steps up and then wins the game for the whole rest of the team. Everybody contributed. It was really insane. I mean, you go from that Siri catch that Jason Adam, when Jason Adam was pitching, that was a terrific catch. And
that's a 5-star catch right there, because not only at the wall, colliding at the wall, but the ball almost had a weird, awkward trajectory landing in. So
yeah,
I would have to look at the numbers and see what the catch probability is, but probably next to nil is where it is.
Yeah, it was really impressive. And yeah, it had like some backspin to it. But no, it was a tremendous play. Then the wherewithal to just get the ball back into the field. That's really great. And so that he definitely kept the game in check. But, that inning started with bases loaded, no out. Right. And they got out of it. It's It was impressive. It was impressive to see the bullpen do its thing. They didn't allow a hit from the 4th inning until the 13th inning, something like that. It was,
yeah.
They silenced it, and I know they let in 3 unearned runs in 7 innings, but given the fact that this bullpen has been through struggles to start the season, I think yesterday we could call that a W performance from the whole bullpen. I mean, they really carried the team, and again, it's almost 2 games that you played.
Yeah,
you basically played 2 games, and they were able to keep it kind of like a quality start for a starter. So good job on the bullpen. But you're right, Caballero stepping up, Palacio stepping up, Rosario stepping up.
Yeah,
Harold with the hustling. I know that he got called out on double play, but yeah, right. That first one in the 9th inning, good for him. And that's the mentality, though, I think that Harold has, and a lot of other Rays have. It's what can you do that's under your control? My hustle. Right. I can control how much I hustle. And that's one of the things that I think makes this Rays team, not 2024, but I'm saying like this Rays organizational team corporate culture, if I may, is hustle. We don't care about you want to wear green shoes, you want to wear yellow shoes, you want to have a huge beard, you want to do whatever. Yeah. We don't care. We care that you hustle.
Yeah.
That seems to be the biggest thing for like the last 15 years. And if you hustle, you're going to get a shot.
Yeah. It's where you make an effort. And again, those names that we mentioned, Palacios, Ramirez, Rosario, Caballero, those aren't the superstars of the team. I mean, it wasn't Yandy or Randy or somebody else stepping in and delivering that big hit. In fact, the Angels all but avoided that by intentionally walking Paredes later on in the action as well. So it's good to see contributions all throughout, and then that the weight of getting a win is not on 1 or 2 or 3 guys' shoulders. It shows you that, okay, the number 7 hitter, the number 6 hitter, the number 8 hitter can get things done.
Yeah, no, and right now this is incredibly important because you don't have the reinforcements that you thought you were going to have come opening day. So these guys do have to step up, and they're getting at bats. I'm very happy to see a team that has nothing to win and then keep going on. I mean, for 2 times they were in their last out, their last opportunity, and they came through. No, yesterday was hopefully a good sign of good things to come, because it's been kind of a weird start to the season where you understand that this team is lacking pieces, so it's not at their optimal strength.
Right.
They're not playing very well. Like, I think they themselves would say, yeah, we're not doing our 100% right now. And yet they're above 500 still, which if we want to extrapolate this, because why not? We're a daily pod, so we get to do this. Imagine what could happen when these guys do get their reinforcements back. I mean, if this team is doing what they're doing right now, which is not like, ooh, so they're surviving or they're treading water. Like, no, they're above 500 right now. That's every team would love to be that way. Imagine what can happen when these names come back onto the fold and they can even be a better team. Like, it's very exciting, but very weird start to the season.
That is for sure, 100%. All right, we have more to discuss, but first we have to tell you this. It is playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every single game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. You can bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and really easy to use. So what are you waiting for? You shouldn't be waiting. Go ahead. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn, LOCKEDON, to make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, they are America's #1 sports book, and I'll repeat that code one more time. FanDuel.com/LockedOn. /LockedOn, LOCKEDON. So, Ulises, with this game, it's hard to pinpoint one individual, but if you were going to announce or award the player of the game, who would it be?
I think I would go with Jose Caballero.
Okay.
Because once you get it, getting into the extras is kind of like winning the wild card. We're in, baby. Yeah. Doesn't matter how we got in the dance. Right. Now let's see what happens. You don't get there without Caballero's triple in the ninth. I understand Harold hustling to get it going. But if he really behind him, nothing happens.
Yeah.
We talk about this game being a dud. So I really do think Caballero, in my opinion, would be that guy. But I would be willing to listen to many, many more other options like we talked about. And the first option I want to hear, the first opinion I want to hear is yours. Who do you think was the MVP of yesterday's game?
I don't know. Caballero doing that. I'm not to group think here, but I think that's a really good choice because the game was all but over at that point. And it's one of those situations where Caballero, I mean, that just shows his mentality of, I don't care if I'm down to my last strike, down to the final out of the game. If we're down by multiple runs, whatever it is, I'm still going to do my best and do whatever I can to try to eke out anything. Like that is just in his mindset. He's a gamer. He's a gamer. And I think at the end of the day, that makes a difference. And that moment, while it took some time for the Rays to actually win, it electrified the team and let them know that we got this. At the end of the day, we will be the last man standing in this ball game. And I don't think it's not like Caballero was, doing amazing things over the course of the game. Like he had some struggles here and there, but when it really counted, he delivered. And this is a guy that is on a new team, playing a new position, has a new role. Probably in a way, I mean, you're replacing the superstar that was Wander Franco. There's a lot on his plate, and there's a lot of eyes and attention on him, and he doesn't seem to be fazed by any of it to this point.
Playing a position that he hadn't played the most in the major leagues, and now he's like basically, hey, you're a starter here. You're a guy here. Like when you're playing, you're going to be playing shortstop. Like it's a lot, and he's been taking that on very well. We talked about this on the in the offseason. Like it's obviously really good for the Rays if he plays well, but if he starts off well, what it can do to him and for his psyche, for his humanness to feel good of what he's doing for the rest of the season, it's huge. And now that we know how the season has started, if Caballero wouldn't have had this start, where would the Rays be right now?
Right.
They wouldn't be in a really good place. And talking about yesterday specifically, just to kind of make more of a point on the MVP, he had a really good play. I believe it was either in the 11th or 12th. Somebody can correct me here, but I think it was one of those two innings. They're playing infield in.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Man on third, and he just gets down. No pressure, no nothing. He just gets down, gets the ball, boom, throws to first. Very, very nice play. No,
the defense has been impressive this year too. And I think the metrics back it up. Again, he was primarily exclusively in Seattle a second baseman.
Yeah. And so then you're taking that guy that he did have those tools, but it's a whole different thing having tools and then putting them on. Like that's a very difficult thing.
I really thought that MVP you were going to go with Kevin Cash because the Rays decided to walk Mike Trout in the top of the 13th inning with Garrett Clevenger on the mound.
Well, funnily enough that you say that, a friend of the pod, I'm going to get his tweet up here. Eric says, hey, Ulises, I heard Cash explaining pitching to Trout on today's radio pregame show with Andy. He basically said he didn't want to put the go-ahead run on base, and that doing so is almost like a Cardinal sing. And that's a quote. Also that he trusted Maton as a veteran in that situation to execute. I'm not saying I agree, but figured I'd share that with you guys. Eric, thank you so much for putting this on the comment box. We see them all, we read them all, and it's awesome that the community is able to put this on here so that we can, transmit it to other people that might not have seen that. So thank you, Eric. Let's talk about that, because I know that yesterday we got into the Kevin crash for the first Kevin crash of the season with him not walking Trout there, and the quote after the game. I don't feel at all like this. I think it's
you don't feel satisfied by the retort.
I'm thankful there was a retort. I'm thankful first that the media asked him about this. Right. Awesome for Andy to ask about this. Thank you, Andy. Because it is a worthy of asking why. And him saying he trusts Maton, I think that's just for his boy to give him confidence. So I'm not gonna get into that. Like that's good. That's a good manager thing to say. Right. I trust in Maton. He can go get the outs. Good managerial quote. I don't want to put the go ahead run because it's a cardinal sin. That's silly. I'm sorry. That's so silly because.
Well, the Rays fight back against cardinal sins or baseball isms. They bob as others weave. They go against the grain in so many instances and situations.
Yeah, and so walking Trout is a cardinal sin because he's the go-ahead run, but letting him be, getting jacked at the 2-run home run, that's not a cardinal sin. Like, I know that obviously when you intentionally walk somebody, that's 1,000% that they're being on base, rather than maybe he has a 400 on base percentage. Right. Okay, obviously you're playing against the odds, but it's Mike Trout that's hitting. So you're really just talking about the difference between Mike Trout's ability to hit to whoever is behind him and his ability to hit. I will take whoever is behind Mike Trout basically against everybody. I mean, then Trout. Like, I'm not gonna face Mike in that situation. And the cardinal sin thing, I think it's a silly quote because I guess Kevin Cash would be arguing with Joe Madden, who would
I guess they wouldn't get along.
Who would walk the bases loaded to not face a Josh Hamilton in his MVP year, or a Miguel Cabrera in his Triple Crown days. Right. That's Madden, and it worked. Now, I'm not saying that it would work every time, but that's thinking outside the box, and like you said, bobbing when others weave. That's who the Rays are. So it just seemed like an off quote by Cash there, but I'm at least thankful that Andy and the media were able to ask that question, and that Kevin provided an answer as well.
Yeah, we'll see what comes about the rest of this series and how they attack Mike Trout. I mean, there's multiple ways to look at it. You could see it in the sense of, okay, you walk Mike Trout and the guy up after him, he either takes it as a spite and tries to do something, or he's got additional pressure of, man, they walked Mike. Now I really have to do something. Right. And you also have to get into the pitcher psyche as well. But I'm all on the train of, if there's an open bag, and you have a situation, especially less than 2 outs, to try to get the double play, go ahead and give Mike Trout his free pass.
It's an easier defensive alignment for the infield too when you are setting up now for the double play, and there's outs everywhere now, basically. So I think it was the smarter play, but it didn't.
And I think the infield is good enough to where you can trust them to convert the double play. It'd be one thing if you had a shoddy infield defense, middle infield, right? You say, I don't know if I really trust them to get it done, but we've seen it so far in the first 20 games of the season that they can find a way to get through it for sure.
Yeah, they can. No, very exciting game. Hopefully the Rays can keep that excitement for Wednesday's game as well. Yeah.
Just a couple quick comments from listeners. Jefferson says, win is a win. That is true. Lady Rays Baseball says it was a Rays win for sure. Ty McCann says, I feel like Kombucha Girl on steroids. And then Argenis Rashad says, BDAW for favorite podcast host. Let's go. All right. I think I know who he's talking about there. Yeah, it was quite the occasion that was. Hopefully they keep it up. And hopefully this is kind of a downer to the Angels. And the Rays can really build momentum and get something going, at least for the bullpen. Maybe this is a turning point for them going forward. I was, despite the wild pitch, just yanking a 99 fastball off Pinto's knee, which, man, Pinto really had to work in that game, dealing with all those pitchers, all those off-reins and breaking balls, and trying to stay in front of as much as he could have. Kudos to him. I mean, he's going to need a couple ice baths to. Something tells me, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens on who gets the action today. But Pete Fairbanks looked much better this time around than we've seen in other instances. I'll just put it like that.
Yeah, definitely not his worst outing, but it's a step in the right direction.
Hopefully a step in the right direction. Yes.
And also with the bullpen, you're right. Hopefully that they can. I mean, Maton. That was, now that we can say that was Maton's most dominant appearance so far, especially once you put it in context. Very, very well done by Phil.
Yep. All right. Hopefully they keep it up. All right. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.